This morning, court proceedings continue for the former priest accused of sexually assaulting an altar boy.
And strong overnight storms have hundreds waking up to no power this morning. We are live with the latest.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday, September 10th. It is like Christmas morning here on News 3 Now because our partner in crime is back.
The gang is back together.
And you don't have to carry all your belongings on your back anymore.
That was a feat, let me tell you.
Oh my gosh.
40 pounds on my back for about 40 miles, folks, as I was backpack hiking out west. It was lovely. It was a beautiful experience.
I'm impressed, but I mean, that's right up your alley, so it didn't really surprise us back here, but we're happy you're okay. And everyone was like, oh gosh, hopefully she doesn't get eaten by a bear.
Josh was totally convinced I was going to get eaten by a bear. I didn't even see a bear. We were hoping to see a grizzly, but we saw moose, we saw elk, we saw lots of pronghorn deer. It was incredible.
We were more worried that you were going to forget the peanut butter in your tent or something, and the bear was going to come sneaking up on you.
How many times was I reminded on this trip by my friends, you do not get to keep the peanut butter in your tent. I can't help it. I like a little snack.
Yeah, we get hungry carrying all that around all day.
That's very true. It's beautiful weather out there, but I came back to a little bit of rain.
It's a little bumpy here this morning. We've had showers and thunderstorms overnight, maybe. A lot of folks waking up at times with the lightning and thunder overnight. Right now, pretty quiet here in Madison, but it is a cloudy and damp start to the day. Showers and thunderstorms continue to roll across southern Wisconsin, but the heaviest rain has now shifted out of the area. Scattered activity, though, still back west in Iowa, so we're not done with the rain just yet. Temperatures are in the 60s and even in some locations low 70s this morning. These are current temperatures. It is going to turn quite humid today and much warmer. I think it's going to feel more like July than September. We're talking highs in the mid 80s with a southwest wind and a lot of humidity to go along with it as well. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. Here's what you can expect on the roads. Just a few brake lights on the Beltline at Stoughton Road. That's pretty typical for a 6 o'clock. Otherwise, no accidents to report right now. And that's your first alert traffic.
Certainly felt like a late summer night last night with all the thunder boomers out there.
Oh boy.
Did you miss me?
I did. I didn't hear the word thunder boomers once out west.
Happy to have you back. And Hattie, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We start this half hour with breaking news into the Channel 3000 Alert Center as storms continue to move through our area this morning. You're taking a live look at the west side of Madison, maybe catching some lightning in that shot right there. This is where a tree was caught in power lines overnight. It knocked out power for more than 50 customers in that area. It's part of close to 400 outages being reported by MG&E in Madison this morning.
Right now, those power outages are pretty widespread across southern Wisconsin. Alliant Energy says more than 2,000 of its customers are without service right now. Most of those people are along the Iowa and Illinois borders. We want to know what you are seeing this morning, so all you have to do is post those pictures or video of storm damage to our Channel 3000 Facebook page.
More breaking news locally this morning. We now know a woman is dead and a 5-year-old boy critically injured after a car crash that happened yesterday. It happened in Rock County along County Highway B at Highway N. Deputies say a 29-year-old woman blew through a stop sign there and hit a dump truck, ejecting both her and that 5-year-old out of the car. A 2-month-old was also in the vehicle but wasn't injured.
New this morning, summer construction season is winding down, and we're now getting a closer look at when we can see those orange barrels disappear along a major stretch of road in the Madison area. The DOT says the Verona Road project is on track to open up to 3 lanes of traffic each way by November. Once that happens, the DOT says traffic should be able to flow freely from the Raymond Road intersection all the way to Dodgeville and Point South. The new lanes of Verona Road will eventually take drivers underneath the Williamsburg Way Bridge and over County Highway PD. The DOT says the new design will help reduce the number of serious crashes.
By eliminating those 2 crossing movements and raising up Verona Road over Highway PD, it's that much improved for safety and efficiency.
The DOT says there's only one more construction season before the entire project is finished. Next year, crews will work on expanding Highway PD between Fitch-Verona Road and Commerce Park Drive to 3 lanes and finishing the interchange between PD and Verona Road. That work should be done by next November.
The jury trial for the former Fort Atkinson priest accused of sexual assault continues this morning. William Nolan is charged with assaulting a then 13-year-old altar boy more than 100 times. Those alleged assaults happened during and after Nolan's tenure at St. Joseph's in Fort Atkinson. In opening arguments yesterday, the state claimed Father Nolan took advantage of the victim, who struggled with his faith and his sexuality. The defense argues the victim's stories to friends, family, and the police are consistently inconsistent.
Nobody saw or heard a thing. You will not hear from one witness that'll say, I saw anything suspicious occur at all.
As a Catholic child in a very strong Catholic family attending a private Catholic school, well, his confusion left him vulnerable, alone, and feeling like he was always living a lie.
A criminal complaint says the assaults continued over the span of 4 years until the victim was 17. At the time of his arrest, Nolan was a retired priest in residence at Our Lady Queen of Peace here in Madison. The trial is expected to go all week, and we're expecting to hear from a principal and teachers at St. Joe's, plus others that the victim had confided in.
Developing right now, we're awaiting the results of an autopsy for a man whose body was found near railroad tracks in the town of Blooming Grove. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says the body was found Saturday morning on Underdahl Road, just east of I-90. Officials believe the body had been there for an extended period of time, but won't provide any more information. That death investigation is still ongoing.
Around the state, a concerned citizen is offering a 6-figure reward in the case of Stephen Avery. Attorney Kathleen Zellner tweeted a news release yesterday announcing a $100,000 reward for the arrest and conviction of Teresa Halbach's, quote, real killer. Zellner specializes in wrongful conviction cases and has taken up Avery's case after it gained national attention in the Netflix series Making a Murderer. A tip line has been set up for anyone with information.
Right now, small fire departments across the state are struggling to hire firefighters and keep them around. The Baraboo Fire Department has 34 firefighters on their roster, and only 4 of them work all day at the station. Others are part-time or volunteers, so they're called in from other jobs and commitments. The fire chief there says the greatest need is for people who can respond to daytime calls because most have other jobs that are hard to leave.
I don't think most people are in it for the long haul anymore just because of added time commitments. And that's what we saw earlier this summer, is that a couple of people just said, hey, I've got other things going on in my life. I don't have the time to dedicate, and that's perfectly understandable.
The Baraboo Fire Department has open houses to recruit potential firefighters, as well as a training program with high school juniors and seniors who will completely be trained by the time they graduate.
Training is underway this morning for a pretty special canine officer in Lake Mills. Truman is a Dutch Shepherd named for the late Lake Mills fire captain Chris Truman. He was killed in a car accident while helping a person on the Beltline on New Year's Eve. Since then, the Lake Mills community has come together to raise funds for this dog. Truman will help the Lake Mills Police Department with drug search and seizure operations and in finding missing people. The canine is also a reminder of his namesake.
It's going to be that reminder to those of us, not only about him and his personality, but how fragile life can be, and how those of us who are first responders, we're out there every day putting ourselves in those positions and maybe make people a little bit more vigilant.
If all goes well, the police chief hopes to have Truman out on patrol in late October with an opportunity for a meet and greet in November.
6:08 right now, UW-Madison is upping its cybersecurity for students, faculty, and staff by requiring a second level of security to log into their WISC accounts.
It's actually one of the industry standard factors of authentication. It's all about protecting the data at the end of the day. We want to make sure that only the right people are getting access to the data, so if it gets spilled, we knew who was logged in when it got spilled.
In addition to entering their password, people must enter a 6-digit code from a token or accept the login attempt via an app on their phone. All UW campuses are enforcing the multi-factor authentication, and so are some other Big Ten schools. Staff and faculty started enrolling in the program in the spring, and students are now able to enroll. The deadline for them is October 31st.
City leaders will be talking today about how your tax money will be used in next year's capital budget proposal. The Finance Committee took up Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway's proposal yesterday after she announced priorities last week. Those include funding for a bus rapid transit system, more affordable housing to decrease rent costs, and increased flood mitigation measures. The full City Council is scheduled to take up that budget for final approval about 2 months from now.
Happening tomorrow, community members who would be impacted by the addition of F-35 jets in Madison are invited to attend a listening session. You'll be able to get more information and also have the opportunity to ask questions about the jet's environmental impact on the area. That'll be held at Sherman Middle School at 5:30 tomorrow night.
The Vine Street Market officially opens for school today at the Wisconsin Dells High School. The market provides a space for students to learn about the importance of nutrition, increasing accessibility to health options for all students. But that's not the only purpose it serves. The school's principal says it's also a place for students to learn about compassion.
We know that students come from varying backgrounds and have access to materials that, that varies.
If we could maintain the student's sense of dignity while they were getting food or getting a service, that would make a better impact and a bigger impact in their life.
The market is run entirely by volunteers who usually form long-lasting relationships with the students. It's going to be open 4 afternoons a week this school year. Pretty cool idea there.
That is awesome. All right, coming up on 6:11 right now and still ahead for us, the next medical marvels could be discovered right here in Wisconsin. See how students and the Green Bay Packers are working to make a new breakthrough.
And some big storms rolling through overnight. Hattie's tracking the latest updates to today's forecast and when we're going to see those storms move on through. She'll have that for you next on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. We've had a pretty active night weather-wise. Take a look at the 24-hour precipitation estimates on the radar, and you can see that there's been some pretty heavy rain overnight from Platteville and Grant County right along the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, where 2 to 3 inches of rain has fallen. Here in Madison, not quite that much, but close, and for most of our area, actually over an inch. So that heavier rain shifted a little bit further south than what we anticipated yesterday. Now this morning, most of the steady rain rain is moving out, but we still have scattered showers and even some thunderstorms just south of Madison this morning, and that activity lines up all the way back into Iowa this morning. Zoom the map out and you can see that we do have a line of showers and thunderstorms continuing to work its way into the area. Now, as we get to the next couple of hours, I would expect this activity to start to diminish in intensity and eventually come to an end by lunchtime today. The severe weather outlook, really nothing expected here across southern Wisconsin. There is a chance for severe weather much farther to the west later on today into tonight. Here's a look at our current temperature readings. As you step out the door this morning, you may be a little surprised. It feels pretty warm outside. 68 in Madison, 70 in Rockford, even close to 80 in Moline this morning. Temperatures even in the Northwoods are relatively warm. Dew points have been climbing steadily overnight as well. We have a dew point of 65 right now in Madison. It climbs to 70 in Dubuque and 72 in Iowa City. Those southwesterly winds that we have in the forecast today will cause those dew points to steadily climb through the day as well. Here in Madison and southern Wisconsin, we could see more 70-degree dew point readings for a short time this afternoon. That means it's going to feel a little bit more like July than September for you. Take a look at your future track forecast model. And again, the rain diminishing this morning, but still may be a wet commute to work and school. Eventually by the lunch hour, though, things quiet down. Temperatures warm up quite quickly today as well. We're looking at highs in the low to mid 80s this afternoon. Variably cloudy skies expected. Staying dry through the evening hours. If you have plans outside this evening, I wouldn't expect the weather to impact it too much. Just keep in mind it's going to feel pretty warm. Overnight, though, showers and thunderstorms once again return to the area. And we have showers and thunderstorms in the forecast then over the next couple of days. In fact, take a look at that extended forecast. Highs in the 80s Wednesday and Thursday with on and off showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. Finally, a cold front cools things down on Friday morning. That'll bring an end to the rain and much more comfortable conditions as we head into the upcoming weekend. Let's get a look at your traffic report now this morning with Jason Stone. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. No issues on the Beltline as drivers are moving at the posted speed limit. Vehicles are lining up on Verona Road at Highway PD. Otherwise, all routes into Madison and around Dane County are unhampered. Traffic is dipping below the speed limit on West Wash from South Park to the Capitol Square. No delays anywhere else on the Isthmus or campus at this time. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Jason and Hattie, thank you both very, very much. We are learning new information right now about why young adults start using e-cigarettes. A new survey of adults who use the e-cigs finds flavors attracted many to start vaping, especially among those aged 18 to 24 who had never smoked traditional cigarettes. The American Heart Association also found users of flavored e-cigs were 3.5 times more likely to say they were addicted to the products compared to non-flavored users.
Around the state, the next medical breakthrough could be coming from college students right here in Wisconsin. UW Green Bay is part of a network of students spanning 15 countries and 45 states that are looking for new life-saving antibiotics. The Tiny Earth Initiative is doing original research to try and prevent some of the 700,000 deaths that happen every year from drug-resistant diseases. Their work is getting people across the state excited, with several high schools and even the Packers chipping in.
Why not? You know, if that gets more people interested in the program, to spread the scope of it and the impact, that'd be a great thing to do.
Now, the team donated a soil sample from one of their practice fields. This soil has a richness of microbes, which are key ingredients for finding the cures these students are looking for. All of this student research is going to be presented at Lambeau Field on December 6th.
UW Stevens Point is also doing groundbreaking work. The university is the first in the country to have a virtual reality system aiming at reducing injury to players and improving cognitive abilities. It's called Sense Arena and uses virtual reality programs to sharpen players' cognitive skills. Researchers are looking at how virtual reality could play a role in athlete rehabilitation. The first study goes until December. If it does improve athlete performance and reduce injuries, they'll look to expand the program for others.
Right now, the American Red Cross is in need after Hurricane Dorian disrupted its supply. Dorian forced the closure of some major blood donation centers and canceled blood drives in its path, causing blood and platelet donations to go uncollected. Donors of all blood types are urgently needed to ensure a sufficient supply for patients. People can also help by making a financial donation to help support relief efforts. For more information on how you can help, you can visit redcross.org. All right, 6:19 your time now. The Badgers have a break this week, but there is no time to rest. We've got to look at how Wisconsin, they're getting ready for that upcoming game against Michigan.
But first, we're taking a live look right now at crews working to restore power after last night's strong storms caused thousands of outages. We'll have the latest forecast and updates straight ahead on News 3 Now this morning. Stay with us.
Welcome back. 6:23 on your Tuesday. You are taking a live look right now at a pretty rainy downtown Madison. Even on the west side, we can hear the thunder every once in a while.
Even the rain on the building at times this morning was really coming down.
And when we can hear it in the studio, you know it's raining pretty hard outside because we don't hear much in here. So yeah, you're definitely right. A wet start to the day today. Let's take a look at the radar map early this morning, show you what's happening across the area. A little bit of a break as far as the rain is concerned here in southern Wisconsin. We have some scattered to isolated thunderstorms right now, but more lining up to the south and west. So we're not done with the rain just yet. Eventually, all this activity is going to diminish. So the rain chances are confined mainly to the early morning hours today. We'll dry out by lunchtime. Dew points are already high in the mid 60s, and we're only going up from there back to a dew point right around 70 degrees. Now that is definitely not typical for September. So you're going to notice the humidity today. It's not going to feel like September at all. In the schools, it's going to be a little sticky. Temperatures will climb already back into the low 80s by lunchtime. Dry as you head home from school. Temperatures, though, in the mid 80s with some high humidity, so it might feel even warmer, closer to 90 degrees today. Keep that umbrella handy. We will have rain chances in the forecast Wednesday, Thursday, and even into Friday morning early in the day. After that, things dry out and we'll cool down once again. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, Hattie. We will. All right, a former Madison Mallard is making a big impression after his big league debut. Nico Herner was called up by the Chicago Cubs yesterday and made his debut against the San Diego Padres last night. He managed to get 3 hits and drive in 4 runs in the Cubs' 10-2 win. Herner played for the Mallards back in 2016 following his freshman year at Stanford. He helped the team win a division championship that summer and went on to be a first-round pick in last year's MLB draft.
To the Brewers now. Meanwhile, in Miami, they kicked off their road trip with a win. The Bats looked pretty good last night. In the 7th, Trent Grisham hits it to deep to right for a 2 RBI triple. Grisham would go on to tie a team rookie record with a 5-hit in a single game. Yasmani Grandal would make it 8-3 with his 26th home run of the season, and that would be the final score. Taking a look at the wild card standings, the Cubs are still holding on to the 2nd spot with the Brewers still 2 games out. Arizona and Philly moved half a game down each last night, giving the Brewers a little more breathing room.
All right, next up for the Wisconsin football team will be the 10th rated Michigan at Camp Randall a week from Saturday. Both the Badgers and the Wolverines are off this week, so they'll be well rested for that game. In all the excitement of a 61-0 win over Central Michigan last weekend was the Badger debut of quarterback Graham Mertz. He took over for Jack Cohn late in the 3rd quarter. In the 1 series he played, he led the offense on a 14-play, 75-yard scoring drive. Mertz completed 4 of his 5 passes for 35 yards and said he felt very comfortable in his first collegiate appearance.
Yeah, it's a game changer. It's because you've been building up to that moment your whole life, and then you get out there and just look up and see 80,000 amazing fans out there. So it was pretty sweet. They told us early in the week that if the opportunity came, I'd get my snap. So I was prepping the whole week. I was ready to go. Throughout the whole thing, it's just as much experience you can get, the better. So I think that was great for my development, and just going forward, having that in my back pocket is pretty sweet.
Boy, the Badgers off to a great start. We have yet to get you to a Wisconsin football game.
I know, that's on the bucket list for this fall, so I'm looking forward to doing the whole tailgating experience, the game experience, sporting the red. It's so much fun. It's good seeing everyone out and doing it and just kind of a community, all that. So
you live in the best, what is it, the best college sports town in the country, so you got to take advantage.
The most loyal. Yeah, we did a story on that yesterday. Pretty crazy.
Very cool. All right, we'll get you there.
There we go. All right, looking forward to it. And still ahead for us, we've got the top 3 things you need to know this morning before you head out the door.
And as construction season comes to a close, we are checking the progress that's been made at Verona Road. That's coming up on News 3 Now this morning.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, folks, and thanks for waking up with us on this Tuesday, September 10th. In case you can't hear the thunder, the rain through your window, Hattie is tracking some storms this morning.
Hear it, I can feel it.
Right. I was up all night with those showers and thunderstorms. Still watching a lone thunderstorm south of Madison this morning. More activity off to the west. All the details coming up in Maine weather.
All right, we'll see you in just a little bit, Hattie. But first, let's get to the top 3 things that you need to know this morning. First up, the South Korean company that owns a cargo ship capsized off of Georgia's coast says it is grateful for the rescue of its crew members. 4 men were trapped in the ship for more than 30 hours after it originally had overturned. They were finally rescued yesterday. The company says it is now working with U.S. agencies to mitigate environmental damage.
The second story we're following this morning, President Trump says it was his decision to call off peace talks with the Taliban. The controversial summit was set to be held at Camp David this week, the 18th anniversary of the September 11th attacks, which had led to the war in Afghanistan. President Trump says he still wants to draw down U.S. troops in that country.
And a happy update to round out our top 3. Baseball fans are happy to see David Ortiz back on the field. The former Boston Red Sox slugger threw out the ceremonial first pitch at the Yankees-Red Sox game last night. It was Big Papi's first public experience since he was shot in the Dominican Republic back in June. Ortiz thanked his fans for all their support.
Those are the top 3 things to know on your Tuesday. Hattie's keeping an eye on the weather and the traffic for us. Hi, Hattie.
Good morning, Leah and Josh. Well, if you're in McFarland this morning, you're likely hearing lots of lightning and thunder and experiencing some pretty heavy rain just south and east of Madison. One lone thunderstorm moving to the east this morning. It's moving rather quickly, but we've already gotten some pretty heavy rain overnight with the showers and thunderstorms, and there's more activity lining up to the south and west. Your future radar brings that activity in Iowa back into southern Wisconsin as we go through the next 3 hours or so, but it is expected to weaken as it moves to the east. So these showers and thunderstorms will eventually diminish this morning. We're turning towards very warm and humid conditions then for the rest of the day. It's certainly not going to feel like September today, with highs in the mid 80s and dew points approaching 70, making it feel quite humid outside. Our forecast calls for warm conditions to continue through most of the week. Let's get a look at those traffic maps this morning. Just looking pretty busy right now on the Beltline at Stoughton Road. A few brake lights showing up on Park Street and the Beltline, but otherwise things looking pretty good this morning. You're not adding too many extra minutes to your commute just yet. And that's your first alert traffic.
Thank you very much, Hattie. 6:33 now. We have an update to breaking news into the Channel 3000 Alert Center overnight. This right here is a live look at the damage from storms that continue to roll through our area. This is on the west side of the city, where a tree was caught in power lines overnight, knocking out power for more than 50 customers in that area. It's part of close to 400 outages being reported by MG&E this morning.
Right now, those power outages are pretty widespread across southern Wisconsin. Alliant Energy says more than 1,300 of its customers are without service right now. Many of those people are along the Iowa and Illinois borders. We want to know what you are seeing this morning. All you have to do is post any pictures or video of storm damage to our Channel 3000 Facebook page.
New this morning, Wisconsin's Attorney General Josh Kaul is joining 49 other states to investigate Google's business practices. The bipartisan coalition plans on investigating Google's reach into online advertising and search traffic. The Wisconsin Department of Justice says legal experts from each state will work with federal authorities in this process. While past investigations of Google had found violations, none of them fully addressed the source of Google's market power.
New this morning, summer construction season is winding down, and we're getting close to seeing the orange barrels disappear along a major stretch of road in Madison. The DOT says the Verona Road project is on track to open up to 3 lanes of traffic each way by November. Once that happens, the DOT says traffic should be able to flow freely from Raymond Road intersection all the way to Dodgeville and Point South. The new lanes of Verona Road will eventually take drivers underneath the Williamsburg Way Bridge and over County Highway PD. The DOT says the new design will help reduce the number of serious crashes.
By eliminating those 2 crossing movements and raising up Verona Road over Highway PD, it's that much improved for safety and efficiency.
The DOT says there's only one more construction season before the entire project is finished. Next year, crews will be working on expanding Highway PD between Fitch-Verona Road and Commerce Park Drive to 3 lanes and finishing the interchange between PD and Verona Road. That work should be done by next November.
I honestly can't remember a time when there wasn't construction along Verona Road.
It's such a mess right now, and I
Yeah.
completely try to avoid the area because it always seems like it adds on about 15 or 20 minutes.
It does.
But just imagine when that is done, how nice that is going to be. It's just going to be so well worth it when it's all done. Right now, it's just kind of like, let's just be done with it. But
Pack your patience, folks.
yes, it'll all be good.
All right, still ahead in the morning sprint, we will have the latest on crews trying to restore power in our area after overnight storms caused hundreds to lose power.
And a new list has ranked which state is the happiest, and we're going to see where Wisconsin falls. That's coming up next on News 3 Now this morning. Stick around.
Okay, so we always ask you to share your morning with us. I had to share my morning with you folks of while I was out west. This is a photo of my camping site just below the Grand Teton. And as you can see, and as Josh likes to point out, of course, I'm preparing to eat. I'm making a meal there.
Making food as always.
Oh my gosh, I cannot describe to you how heavy the food was on our back. So we had backpacks that could fill 40 pounds, and we used all 40 pounds of it, and the food was the heaviest. So that mac and cheese tasted especially good.
Well, you survived. We're happy to have you back. And yeah, seeing your photos is just really incredible. So
it was so much fun. I'm glad to be home, though.
And yeah, happy to have you back. It's
Yes.
good to see you again. All right, well, right now, Wisconsin comes in right around the middle when it comes to the list of happiest states.
All right, Wallet Hub out with its latest study showing Wisconsin sits at 25. I'm a little surprised. I was expecting us to do better. Researchers looked at topics ranging from the depression rate to sports participation and income growth. Experts say good economic, emotional, physical, and social health are all key to a well-balanced and fulfilled life. Hawaii, by the way, came in at #1 because of its low depression rate. Minnesota got 3rd. Iowa was 11th. Meanwhile, West Virginia scored at the bottom.
I guess Hawaii is no surprise there, right?
Yeah, and Minnesota, third, of course, your home state.
That is, yeah. Wisconsin coming in right around average.
I don't know. The people who did that study clearly hadn't had enough cheese curds.
Or beer.
Just saying. Or beer. or spotted cow.
I mean, at least we're average. It could be worse. We could be West Virginia. So
That's true. You always bring the silver lining.
sometimes average is just fine.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Personally, though, we're higher up. I'm glad to be
I think
home
so
from
too.
the West.
Yeah, it's good to be here. All right, 6:40 is your time right now. We are checking back in with the crews working to repair power outages from overnight. We'll have the latest on all of that and what we're seeing this morning coming up right after this.
Yeah, you're taking a live look at some of that damage, pretty widespread across our area. But first, today is Tuesday, September 10th. We want to say happy birthday to Brooklyn and all the kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks so much for celebrating with us here on News 3 Now this morning.
Look who's
.644 right now on your Tuesday morning, and yeah, you can see those raindrops covering the lens. If you slept through the storms last night, good for you.
Yeah, I certainly didn't. No, not at all. But hey, is that a little peak of sunshine
Just
I see
a
out there?
little bit of brightness out there, Hads?
Just a little bit of encouragement. Yeah, looking at the view behind me, this is from the WISC-TV sky camera. Looks like the clouds are breaking up a little here as well. We're not done with the rain just yet, though, so don't get too excited yet. Here's a look at the severe weather reports. No reports of severe weather for southern Wisconsin overnight, but there were some wind gusts and damage reports coming out of parts of northern Iowa, northwestern Illinois during the overnight hours. This morning, we're dealing morning with a lot of rain, though. This is a look at the radar estimated rain over the last 24 hours. The blue shaded colors indicating 1 to 2 inches of rain, and you can see that covers most of our viewing area. Higher amounts up to 3 inches, though, parts Grant County, Iowa County, and then right along the state line where some heavier thunderstorms rolled through just a few hours ago. But everyone picking up quite a bit of rain over the last 24 hours. Now, currently, a little bit of a break. We have one lone thunderstorm east of Madison this morning, but then some shower and thunderstorm activity further back to the west, just west of the Mississippi River Valley. Those showers and thunderstorms lining up through Iowa, again, all moving in this direction. I would expect them to begin to diminish in intensity and coverage, though, over the next couple of hours. So we have a few hours yet to deal with the chance for rain. The rest of the day then looks dry. But the forecast is pretty unsettled. We have a cold front that will eventually be moving through the area, but really hanging up across southern Wisconsin. Remain nearly stationary for the next couple of days. It may fluctuate a little bit north or south, but we're going to deal with chances for rain on and off through much of the week. Here's a look at your GFS Future Track forecast model. You can see those chances for rain again coming back later tonight, I think, especially after dark. And then on Wednesday, showers and thunderstorms scattered on and off throughout the day. That sort of activity continues right into Thursday. Here's Thursday morning. Still a lot of rain in the area. Things don't quiet down until a cold front moves through and really clears the atmosphere. That'll happen Friday morning. Cooler temperatures will then follow for the upcoming weekend. But we've already gotten several inches of rain and we'll add to that. Here's additional rain totals through Friday morning. Again, this is not including what fell overnight. This is on top of that. Could see another 1 to 2 inches possible for southern Wisconsin. Now, the second part of the story is the heat and humidity. It's certainly not going to feel like September. Temperatures are in the upper 60s right now here in Madison, 74 in Springfield. St. Louis is at 77. Kansas City is at 75. There's lots of heat building to our south and west. Temperatures will start on the warm side this morning. Dew points are going to be climbing as well. Dew points have risen over the last 24 hours, and they're slowly expected to climb through the day today. Again, we may be approaching dew points right around 70 degrees later on this afternoon. So that means you may be talking heat index. It might feel like it's closer to 90 degrees for a short time later today. Here's a look at your forecast model then. Precipitation through the day today. Rain diminishing through the morning hours, but again, it may be a wet commute to work and school. Dry for the afternoon, but dry is relative because it will be rather humid with highs in the mid-80s. Then as we head towards the overnight hours tonight, rain returns to southern Wisconsin. Josh and Leah, we may be waking up again overnight with some showers and thunderstorms spreading across the area. Kind of on and off wet through Thursday and at least Friday morning, but then we dry out with temperatures in the 70s. Here's a look at our pet walk forecast.
Oh, honey. My gosh.
Lucy's ready to play ball. A warm one today, but it'll still be dry this afternoon. You can go play fetch.
Hey, I'll take a couple of innings with that pup.
That's the prettiest dog.
Cute.
Love it.
Thank you very much, Addie.
You're welcome.
All right, stay with us for the morning sprint straight ahead. It is 6:51, time for the morning sprint as our team gets your day started with the most local news than anyone else.
We start with breaking news into the Channel 3000 Alert Center of thousands of power outages across the Midwest. That includes the west side of Madison, where crews are working right now to repair power lines after a tree fell on them overnight. There are scenes like this one across southern Wisconsin this morning. MG&E is reporting about 400 outages right now. Alliant Energy is reporting close to 1,500.
A 5-year-old boy is critically injured and a woman is dead after a 2-vehicle crash in rural Rock County. Late yesterday, the Rock County Sheriff's Office says the woman didn't stop at a stop sign at County Highway B in the town of Magnolia before hitting a dump truck. The woman and the 5-year-old were both ejected from the car. A 2-month-old girl was also in the car but wasn't hurt. Highway B was shut down for almost 7 hours into the overnight.
And the heavy rain has moved from McFarland over towards Cambridge and eastern parts of Dane County. The rest of the area dry for the time being, but showers and thunderstorms still possible over the next couple of hours. That line of rain lining up all the way back into Iowa this morning. Once the rain comes to an end, it's going to turn pretty warm and humid around here. Take a look at your high temperature trend into the mid-80s with high humidity this afternoon.
Patty, thank you. The American Red Cross is in need of blood donations after Hurricane Dorian disrupted its supply. Dorian forced the closure of some major blood donation centers and canceled blood drives in its path, causing blood and platelet donations to go uncollected. Donors of all blood types are urgently needed to ensure a sufficient supply for patients. People can also help by making a financial donation to support relief efforts.
The trial for the former Fort Atkinson priest accused of sexual assault continues this morning. William Nolan is charged with assaulting a then 13-year-old altar boy more than 100 times during and after his tenure at St. Joseph's in Fort Atkinson. The state claims Father Nolan took advantage of the victim, who struggled with his faith and his sexuality. The defense says there's no proof of those allegations.
Right now, we're awaiting the results of an autopsy for a man whose body was found near railroad tracks in the town of Blooming Grove. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says the body was found Saturday morning on Underdahl Road, just east of I-90. Officials believe the body had been there for an extended period of time. That death investigation is ongoing.
The attorney for Stephen Avery says there's a $100,000 reward for anyone who can help catch the, quote, real killer of Teresa Halbach. Attorney Kathleen Zellner tweeted that announcement just yesterday. A tip line has now been set up for anyone with information.
City leaders will be talking today about how your tax money will be used in next year's capital budget. The Finance Committee took up Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway's proposal yesterday after she announced priorities last week. The full City Council is scheduled to take up the budget for final approval about 2 months from now.
Happening tomorrow, community members who would be affected by the addition of F-35 jets here in Madison are invited to attend a listening session. You'll get more information and also have the opportunity to ask questions about the jet's environmental impact. It's going to be held at Sherman Middle School at 5:30 tomorrow night.
UW-Madison is upping its cybersecurity for students, faculty, and staff by requiring a second level of security to log into their WISC accounts. In addition to entering their password, people must enter a 6-digit code from a token or accept the login attempt via an app on their phone. All UW campuses are enforcing the multi-factor authentication, and so are some other Big Ten schools.
Wisconsin's Attorney General is joining 49 other states to investigate Google's business practices. The bipartisan coalition plans on investigating Google's reach into online advertising markets and search traffic. The Wisconsin Department of Justice says legal experts from every state will work with federal authorities in that process.
President Trump says it was his decision to call off peace talks with the Taliban. The controversial summit was set to be held at Camp David this week, the 18th anniversary of the September 11th attack, which led to the war in Afghanistan. President Trump still wants to draw down U.S. troops in that country.
The South Korean company that owns the cargo ship that capsized off of Georgia's coast says it is grateful for the rescue of its crew members. 4 men were trapped in the ship for more than 30 hours after it originally overturned and were finally rescued yesterday. The company says it's working with U.S. agencies to mitigate environmental damage.
Baseball fans are happy to see David Ortiz back on the field this week. The former Boston Red Sox slugger threw out the ceremonial first pitch at the Yankees-Red Sox game last night. It was Big Papi's first public appearance since he was shot in the Dominican Republic back in June. Ortiz thanked his fans for the support.
The Brewers are still in the middle of a wild card chase after a win in Miami last night. Yasmani Grandal gave the Brewers an 8-3 lead with his 26th home run of the season, and that would be the final score. The Cubs also won last night, meaning the Brewers are still 2 games behind them for the final playoff spot.
Summer construction season winding down, and we're getting close to seeing the orange barrels disappear along a major stretch of road in the Madison area. The DOT says the Verona Road project is on track to open to 3 lanes of traffic each way by November. The DOT says there's only one more construction season before the entire Verona Road project is finished. That work should be done by next November.
6:56 now. Let's turn it over to Jason Stone with a look at your first alert traffic. Hi, Jason.
Hello. An incident has been reported on the westbound Beltline between the interstate and Stoughton Road. Drivers are backed up on the interstate through Monona Drive. No issues on John Nolan heading downtown or any of the intersections. Also, an accident has taken place on southbound Stoughton Road prior to the Buckeye Road exit. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Thank you very much, Jason.
And here's a look outside from the Edgewater Skycam. A little encouraging there. We're seeing some blue sky in between the rounds of rain this morning. Here's a look at the radar map one more time. That thunderstorm moving pretty quickly now out of Dane County into Jefferson County. More showers, though, lining up to the west. So we're not quite done with the rain just yet. Our day planner temperatures take us into the mid-80s with more humidity this afternoon. Definitely feeling a little bit more summer-like than fall today. Temperatures will top at 84 degrees.
Glad to see a little bit of blue skies as well.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Hattie.
And thank you all so much for joining us. Stay with us for the most local news as you go about your day. CBS This Morning is next. We'll make it a great day.